welcome back. Today we're going to be solving another LeetCode question, which is merge intervals. So how this goes is given an array of intervals where intervals I has the start and end points. Merge all the overlapping intervals and return an array of non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. So we have an example here. So the first interval is 1, 3, and the second is 2, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. So here, if we see it, 1, 3, and 2, 6 are overlapping. So the combined, the merged interval becomes 1 to 6, 8 to 10, and 15 to 18. Okay. So, yeah. So the way we can go about doing this is, let's first have the result array where we're gonna store all the merged intervals. So yeah, okay, yeah. So since the intervals can be in any order, let's just sort the intervals according to their first element. Intervals dot begin, intervals dot end. Yeah. So yeah, this should give us the sorted array, so we don't have to worry about the first element now. So the way we can find out if the intervals are overlapping is if we look at the second element of an interval array. If the second element of the previous array is overlapping the first element of our current array, if it's greater than the first element of our current, then there is an overlap, and we should just take the max of the second element and the second element of the previous array and the second element of the current array. So we can do that by just having our previous array. Yeah, let's just assign it with the first element for now. Yeah, so we can go ahead and start by, since we already have covered the first element, we can start by 1 intervals dot size I plus. So yeah, now let's store our current intervals of I. Yeah, so we have the current and the previous one. So the way we can do is, if our current, if our current of 0 is less than or equal to previous of 1. Yeah, so in this example, 2 is less than or equal to, then we just previous of 1 is equal to max of previous of 1, comma, current of 1. So this would give us the upper bound of the interval. I think, yeah. So then else, if this is not the case, there's no overlapping interval, then we can just result dot push back our previous array into it, and we can move the previous towards ahead and do this. And then finally, once we reach the end of the array, we still have one element left to be pushed, which is stored in previous. So we have previous array, and then we can return result. Let's just hope this works. Everything looks good. Okay, what is it? Okay. Let's just try it again. Okay. So this has gone through. Let's just go ahead and submit it. Yep, it works. So yeah, so we just sorted the array first here so that we do not have to worry about the first element, like an array being, like suppose we could have had an example where 2 comma 6 would have been first and 1 comma 3 would have been the second element, and we didn't want to bother with that, so we sorted the array first, and then we had the result array where we were gonna store the result, and then we started with storing the previous element, which just starts out with the first element of the array. Then we had the current element, so we were always comparing current with previous. So if the current's first element was always lesser than or equal to the previous's last element, that means there was an overlap. So to fix the second element of the array, we just went ahead of comparing previous's last element with current's last element, and we took the max value. And then if it's not overlapping, we just pushed back the previous element. And then we moved the previous towards current, and so that the loop kept iterating. So that's it. So that's it for today. Let's meet again soon.